Become LinkedIn with the Global Marketplace, the basics of using LinkedIn to effectively market yourself for career. I would like to preface this presentation with the following information. When this presentation was and is delivered to a live audience, it is complemented with live views of my LinkedIn account for examples. In addition, the presentation is filled with audience Q&A as the delivery is being made. Questions could be asked at any time through the program, and answers and samples were provided in real time. These anecdotes provided the audience with richer content than can be seen by viewing just the slideshow alone. Please allow this PowerPoint to serve as the basis for the presentation, but consider additional conversations occurring throughout the presentation. Here is a brief overview of what this presentation will include. The numbers don't lie. Some LinkedIn statistics you should know. Build your profile and build your brand. Be seen and heard across your industry. Engage. Your connections and final notes. Consider for a moment that 0 jobs were ever posted to the public. What would that mean for job hunting? How would people know about jobs? How would they get interviews? Let's now consider a secret job market. This is just for exclusive people who have connections to certain companies or industry leaders. Well, that is in fact what the hidden job market is. A market only for those who are smart enough to know the right people and have the right connections. The hidden job market includes jobs that are filled before they are ever advertised to the public. Candidates get connected to these opportunities before the jobs even become available. 80 to 85% of jobs are filled by the hidden job market. That means only 15 to 20% of jobs are actually posted positions to the public. How do you make those connections? And how do you get to be part of that 80%? And who are those 80%? The numbers don't lie. According to LinkedIn, 467 million users are on LinkedIn, and 128 million are in the United States alone. 1 in 3 professionals on planet Earth have a LinkedIn account, and 25 million users of LinkedIn are viewed daily. What does that mean for you? As college students, you're a big part of this crowd. 40 million users are college students and recent graduates, and 7 million active jobs are posted on LinkedIn for you to view. When you create an account on LinkedIn, you are building a public profile, and a profile is all about branding yourself. Who are you, and how do you want to be viewed by the public and potential employers? Keep in mind when building your profile, you are judged by how you represent yourself to the world on your social media, specifically on this LinkedIn page. Be thoughtful about your profile. Be thoughtful about your photos that you choose. Be thoughtful about the company you keep, literally and figuratively. Be thoughtful about your groups, and be thoughtful about what you post about you. As you can see at the bottom, there are a few fun photos that I'd like to mention. Certainly on social media, when you're looking at a professional network, you do not want to show pictures of your Friday night out with the gals. Also, it is safest to keep your political affiliations private unless you are going into a role that requires that to be public knowledge. The same stands for religious information about yourself. And last, while Wilbur the guinea pig is pretty cute, it's best to keep him on your more fun social media pages and away from your professionally LinkedIn profile. At this point, we should probably discuss what is a profile. When you join LinkedIn, you will create a personal account. It will ask you to input lots of different bits of data, which we will discuss further. When you are done, it will create a main page that lists that information for others to view, including employers. There's photos, there's information, There's information about your activity, education, and experience, and we will examine each part of that moving forward. So what's actually in a profile? As you just saw a snapshot of my profile page, you notice there were a few photos. There's a headline section that's a short description of you, a summary section that in brief summarizes experiences you wish to share. There's an experience section that looks similar to your work experience on your resume. There's a section to highlight your educational experiences. There is a section that discusses the skills that you have, and other people on LinkedIn can endorse you for those skills. There's a section that you can accumulate recommendations from your colleagues and past employers. You should also indicate your location and the industry that you are most associated with. You can also personalize a URL on LinkedIn, and there's opportunities to become more involved and join groups on the website. At this point, we would take a look at my personal LinkedIn account and scan for these different items, showing examples for each. When you are initially setting up your profile, after you've created a LinkedIn account, you are given the opportunity to include two photos. One is a profile picture and the second is a background picture. If you notice the photos at the bottom, one is quite a bit more interesting than the other. If I am searching out industry professionals, I would be 14 times more inclined to view a profile with a photo than without, according to LinkedIn. As you can see for yourself, one is certainly more interesting and catches someone's eye 14 times better. At this point in the live presentation, I would also view my personal profile and show students how to upload the photo for their profile picture. As you just saw in the previous slide, photos attract attention 14 times more. In your account, you also have the option to use a background photo. Background photos can be any photo you wish. Sometimes people will choose outdoor photos of the place that they are employed. A college student might choose to use a background from their college campus. Or, if someone has their own business or brand, they may choose to use their own logo in that space. A headline. How do you want to be viewed on LinkedIn? This is an area when you are setting up your account that is found immediately under your name. The statement of who you are should include keywords in which a recruiter might search you out by industry. It is often helpful to sometimes include your desired title rather than your current title if you are thinking of changing careers or jobs. It is an opportunity for you to attach any kind of text that describes you in a way that you want to be seen professionally. The summary section is a part of your LinkedIn profile header section. As you can see by the area circled in red, it is an area that can provide a quick summary of anything you would like to quickly communicate about yourself when someone looks at your LinkedIn account. In the summary section, you can include a summary of your work experience, education, a product or service that you're selling or delivering, or any other piece of professional information that you want to highlight. LinkedIn also has a great feature available to help you write your summary. If you complete your experience section before completing the summary section, you can then enter into the summary section and choose a summary that LinkedIn has written on your behalf based upon your experiences. You can then edit this summary as you see fit. The summary sample you see here from my profile was actually written by LinkedIn as a sample for this presentation. If you are searching for jobs, this might also be a good place to indicate to others that you are seeking opportunities in the event that someone such as a recruiter or employer views your page. The next section in the LinkedIn account would be your experience section, and this is certainly one of the most important sections that you have potential to add a lot or a little information. This first example is okay, but not great. It's simply one of the descriptions for my department with a link to the college that I work for. And then in previous positions, there's no description at all. And while this does give an employer an idea of how long I've worked at those places, it does not relay a great deal of information to let someone take a look at my history and possibly become interested in me as a candidate. Here is a second example of someone's experience section on LinkedIn. The experience section should read more like a live resume, but possibly contain more bells and whistles such as live links and projects. If your resume is online, you're more likely to be reviewed by employers and recruiters. You want to be sure that you keep the content updated and current. In this example, it is clear that this description offers an employer or recruiter a lot more information on this candidate, and therefore they might become more interested in this candidate for a position. Another very important section of your LinkedIn account will include your education and any additional training you may have. On the square on the left, you will see my academic education, and then above it you will also see a current course that I've recently taken for career development purposes. And on the left it shows it's actually an education institution, which is probably not the best way to showcase this experience. However, in your profile, you do have the ability to add extra sections. So, if you were to go to your profile page and click the link that says Add New Profile Section on the right, you will see a listing of different things that you can add to your profile. If you click on Accomplishments, you will see a whole list of different things that you can add, including certifications, publications, projects, courses, or awards. And in this case, I might choose to instead put this under courses because it's not a full academic program, and it would show a diverse background versus adding this career program into my education section as is. Once you input your education, it is very helpful to be sure to include your educational activities while you are in those institutions. If you include those activities and organizations that you have been a part of in the past, such as this example, there is a 10 times better likelihood that you will be viewed by someone who had been looking at those organizations and came across your name as one of the individuals associated with those organizations. Again, it's very important that there is as much information as possible on your LinkedIn account to get you viewed in many different ways. There is another section in LinkedIn that offers you the ability to promote the skills that might be attractive to employers. You can choose as many as you like, and you can add new skills at any time. When you add a new skill, this also alerts others that you have this skill, and someone that knows you and has experience working with you may choose to endorse you. It is often polite if someone endorses you for a skill to go to their account and reciprocate the endorsement. Another section that LinkedIn offers is the recommendation section. This section allows you to showcase recommendations from colleagues or past employers. You will certainly shine brighter if you can obtain at least one recommendation from each place of employment that you might list in your experience section. Also, different types and levels of recommendations are a plus. For example, the second recommendation on this page is from one of the student staff members who have worked for me. So it's a good opportunity for me to showcase people of all different levels recommending me because of past experience working with one another in different ways. If you don't have any recommendations, you can ask some of your connections. And again, similar to an endorsement, be prepared to offer a recommendation in return. Two other sections you want to make sure you fill out when you're completing your LinkedIn profile are your location and your industry. Both of these items make it easier for a recruiter to come across your LinkedIn account if they are searching for a specific area that happens to be where you are located or for a specific industry in which you are listed within. Both will increase your chances of being viewed by an employer. Every LinkedIn account comes with an automatic URL address. However, as you can see in red, you have the ability to change this. In order to change it, you would go into Account Settings and then Privacy, and then Change URL. The reason why you might want to make this custom is you might want to insert something recognizable or very personable, possibly the name of a business, or to have a middle initial or something additional added to your URL. Why would you want to do this? The benefit here is being able to use this URL as a live link in other documents or even printed on your actual resume. Now that you have designed your profile on LinkedIn, you will want to review your settings and privacy. In order to do that, you will go to the dark gray header bar across the top of your LinkedIn page, and you'll see the icon with your photo in it with a drop-down that says Me underneath. When you click that drop-down and go to Settings and Privacy, you'll see a few different tabs. In the Account tab, you have the ability to change your email address, phone number, password, name, location, industry, and more. Under the Privacy tab, you can edit your public profile, you can edit who can view your connections, which we will review soon, and you can also determine whether you want to share your profile edits. I've noted this one is particularly important as a new user. You should be aware that you can temporarily turn off the ability for others to see every time you make a change on your account. So if you are experimenting, you should turn that off so your connections do not see every change that you make, and then when you feel comfortable with the way it is outlined, go back and turn that button on. Now that you've had the opportunity to set up your LinkedIn profile, it's time to have some professional fun. It's time to engage. While setting up your profile is extremely important, your profile is not why you join. You join so that you can get connected. You can and should engage with your network on LinkedIn, especially if you want to be viewed by others. If you would like others to notice your profile, or if you would like to share your thoughts on a topic, or make new connections, or search for jobs, it's all part of engagement and starting to network. Here are some ways that you can start engaging. First, you can make connections. Connections are the individuals that you connect with by way of invitations on LinkedIn. You can invite someone to connect, or someone can invite you to connect. You can also choose to ignore an invitation if you wish. Connections are the most important part of using LinkedIn, and we'll get to more on this in a minute. You can also join groups. You can search an industry or certain topics to discover groups, and after becoming more familiar with you, LinkedIn will also begin to suggest groups based upon your usage. If you come across a group that's interesting, you must usually ask to join the group. In most cases, you will be accepted by their administrator, and there'll be more about how to search groups in a few minutes. You can and should be active on your page or in your groups. If someone comes across your LinkedIn page, particularly a recruiter, they will want to see what you've been up to on LinkedIn. They might check out your groups, your posts, your comments, and they are able to see how active you actually are. Don't leave your page stale. You should start a conversation or even ask a question within a group, or create your own content on your page at least once or twice a week. You can create content by writing an article and posting it, or you might choose to share someone else's article and make a comment on it. If you choose this, be sure you've read the entire article though, before doing that, so that you're not endorsing an article that you didn't fully read or fully agree with. And you can also search for jobs. If you click the Jobs tab at the top of your page, it brings you to another page where you can set your job search preferences. With that, LinkedIn will start to regularly share suggested jobs on your homepage that you may have further interest in. Your connections. As I mentioned earlier, connections are very important to the successful networking on LinkedIn. Connections are all the people that will help your network grow exponentially. The more you have, the larger your network. So right away, you want to start building your connections network. You can search for people that you know personally, or you can search for people that are known in your industry. Industry leaders are key in networking because they will have many connections as well that you might in turn benefit from. You can search for LinkedIn pages of past employers, supervisors, and colleagues. Just note that when you go into someone else's page, they can see who is there. You can introduce yourself to new contacts through your groups and ask to connect with them. And you can also search out specific organizations that you might want to work for in the future and try to connect with some of their actual employees. The ways to connect are endless. As I mentioned earlier, you want to join groups. This is your chance to become more engaged and show that you are engaged in your industry. The way that you can find new groups is by clicking on in the gray bar across the top of your page under the word work, and you click the drop down and you'll see these icons, and one of them, as you can see there circled in red, is called groups. If you click into groups, then you have many options. You can click on my groups and look at all the groups that you belong to. You can also see your most active groups, and you can also see the highlights and information and news coming from each one of those groups. It also gives you the ability to discover new groups by searching in keywords or industries. Take advantage of this option. It will help you grow your network exponentially. Last, I'd like to share some final notes on using LinkedIn for beginners. When you are creating your profile, be sure to include live links to your work, publication, or blogs. This is an opportunity for you to share some of your work that an employer might be interested in reading. You also want to make sure you connect an email address to your account so that people have the ability to connect with you outside of LinkedIn if they wish. You want to also make sure that you set up your job search parameters so that you're getting the most up-to-date industry information on available opportunities. And last, I also recommend using LinkedIn Pulse on your mobile device for industry-related news. You always want to stay up to date with what's going on in the industry, and this application for mobile devices is a great way to stay in touch. At this point in the presentation, we are offering free profile photos to get you started. If you wish to seek more information about learning to use LinkedIn, please contact me directly. Check out some of my resources.